Men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand, for everyone can see and few can feel. Everyone sees what you appear to be, few really know what you are. Niccolo Machiavelli, you trusted them, you gave them everything, and when they walked away, you called it betrayal. But here's what nobody tells you about betrayal. The knife that cuts deepest, it's not the one they hold, it's the one you've been holding against yourself this entire time. You've been betraying yourself so long, you forgot what loyalty to your own soul even feels like. Every time you smiled when you wanted to scream, every time you said yes when your body screamed no, every time you made yourself smaller so someone else could feel bigger. That wasn't kindness, that was self-abandonment. And the worst part? You called it love. Machiavelli understood something about human nature that we refuse to see. The greatest enemy isn't the one standing in front of you. It's the one staring back from the mirror, the one who learned to betray their own instincts to survive. You know that feeling when someone hurts you and you immediately ask yourself what you did wrong? That's not healing, that's a trained response. You've been conditioned to turn the blade inward before anyone else can. But why do we do this to ourselves? Because somewhere along the way, you learned that your authentic self wasn't safe. So you created a version of yourself that others could love. You built a mask so convincing that even you forgot it wasn't real. This is what Jung called the persona. It's not just the face you show the world, it's the face you show yourself in the mirror. The version of you that's acceptable, palatable, safe. But here's the cruel irony. The more you betray yourself to keep others close, the more they sense something's missing. They can't love what isn't real, and you can't trust what isn't honest. So you end up in this impossible cycle. You abandon yourself to be loved, but the love you receive feels empty because it's not really for you. It's for the performance, the mask, the lie. If this is hitting you right now, comment, "I see myself now." You're not alone in this. Machiavelli wrote about power, but not the kind they teach in business school. Real power. The kind that comes from knowing exactly who you are and refusing to apologize for it. He said it's better to be feared than loved, but he didn't mean become a monster. He meant stop betraying yourself to be liked. Stop making yourself small to make others comfortable. Stop apologizing for taking up space. Think about it. When was the last time you respected someone who constantly apologized for existing? When was the last time you trusted someone who changed their personality based on who was in the room? You don't respect the shapeshifter. You respect the person who remains themselves, no matter what, even if it makes you uncomfortable, especially if it makes you uncomfortable. But here's where it gets dark. The people who taught you to betray yourself, they're still in your head. Their voices became your inner critic. Their fears became your limitations. Their shame became your identity. You're not just fighting external betrayal, you're fighting the internal betrayer. The voice that says you're too much, too loud, too sensitive, too difficult, too real. That voice isn't yours. It never was. It's the collective voice of everyone who needed you to be smaller so they could feel bigger. Everyone who needed you to be quiet so they could feel powerful. Everyone who needed you to doubt yourself so they could feel certain. Machiavelli understood that most people don't want to face their own shadow, so they project it onto others. They make you carry their shame, their fear, their self-hatred. And you do it because you think that's what love requires. But love doesn't require self-erasure. It requires truth, and truth requires courage. The courage to disappoint people who are committed to misunderstanding you. Here's what changes everything. The moment you stop betraying yourself, you stop attracting betrayers. The moment you stop abandoning yourself, you stop attracting people who abandon you. The moment you stop lying to yourself, you stop attracting liars. Your external world is a mirror of your internal world. The betrayal you experience from others is always preceded by the betrayal you inflict on yourself. You don't slam the door, you remove the entire room. You don't argue with people who refuse to see you, you stop making yourself visible to them. You don't explain yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. You save your truth for those who can handle it. Let me know if this is making you feel seen. Drop a comment below. This is what Machiavelli meant by strategic withdrawal. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is disappear. Not in anger, not in revenge, but in self-respect. In recognition that your energy is sacred and not everyone deserves access to it. You thought survival meant being quiet, but the real you was never meant to be silent. It was just waiting for this moment. When you'd finally remember who you are. The betrayal you've been running from, it's not behind you, it's inside you. It's a part of you that learned to abandon yourself before anyone else could. It's the part of you that became the enemy so you wouldn't have to face external enemies. Let me show you how deep this goes. Think about your last relationship. The moment you felt them pulling away, what did you do? You probably started analyzing every conversation, every text, every silence. You turned yourself into a detective investigating your own worth. But here's what you missed. The moment you started investigating yourself instead of questioning their behavior, that was the betrayal. The moment you made their distance about your inadequacy instead of their inability to show up, that was when you chose them over you. You became your own prosecutor, building a case against yourself, collecting evidence of why you weren't enough, why you were too much, why you deserved to be left. And the cruelest part, you did their job for them. They didn't even have to reject you. You rejected yourself first. You saved them the trouble of breaking your heart by breaking it yourself. This is what Machiavelli understood about human nature. Most people don't need enemies. They are their own worst enemy. They don't need to be conquered, they conquer themselves. They hand over their power before anyone even asks for it. You've been walking around with an internal dictatorship, a regime that governs your thoughts, your words, your actions, a government that wasn't elected by you, but imposed on you. By parents who couldn't handle your fullness, by teachers who needed your compliance, by lovers who required your smallness. And now that internal dictator has become so sophisticated, so seamless, that you think its voice is your voice. You think its fears are your wisdom. You think its limitations are your reality. But liberation starts with recognition. The moment you can separate your authentic voice from the voice of your conditioning, the moment you can tell the difference between your intuition and your programming, the moment you realize that the critic in your head isn't protecting you, it's controlling you. But here's the liberation. Once you see the betrayer within, you can stop feeding it. You can stop giving it power. You can stop letting it make decisions for your life. You can start asking different questions. Instead of, what did I do wrong? You can ask, what did I learn about them? Instead of, why wasn't I enough? You can ask, why did I think I needed to be everything for someone who gave me so little? Instead of, how can I fix this? You can ask, is this worth fixing? Instead of, what's wrong with me? You can ask, what's right with me that threatens them? You have the right to disappoint people who want you to stay small. You have the right to be too much for people who can't handle your fullness. You have the right to be real in a world that profits from your performance. You're not broken, you were just surviving. You're not too sensitive, you were just surrounded by people who were too numb. You're not too much, you were just never mirrored properly. Being too nice is how you disappear, slowly, and with applause. But disappearing isn't noble, it's just quiet suffering. And you weren't born to suffer quietly. You were born to live loudly, authentically, unapologetically. The room feels colder now, because the only warmth was you, and you've been giving it away to people who never deserved it, who never even asked for it, who took it for granted because you made it seem infinite, but it's not infinite. Your energy isn't infinite. Your tolerance isn't infinite. Your capacity to betray yourself isn't infinite. With better locks and better judgment about who gets the key. The person you trusted most taught you that trust is earned, not given. That loyalty is proven, not promised. That love is shown, not just spoken. They didn't destroy you, they refined you. You thought survival meant trusting everyone, but the real you was never meant to be that open. You were just meant to be that selective. The final truth. The people you trust most will either elevate you or devastate you. There's no middle ground. But that's not a reason to stop trusting. It's a reason to start trusting better. The person who knows your secrets should be the person who protects them. The person who sees your weaknesses should be the person who strengthens you. The person who holds your heart should be the person who guards it. You're not looking for someone who will never hurt you. You're looking for someone who would never want to. The person who destroys you isn't the person who was always your enemy. It's the person who was your friend, until they chose themselves over you. But now you know, now you see, now you understand. Your trust isn't a weakness, it's a superpower. You just need to use it more strategically. The room feels different now because you're different now. You're not the same person who trusted blindly. You're the person who trusts wisely. And that person is unbreakable. Subscribe if this helped you remember something true about yourself. Like if you're ready to trust better, not less. And comment what you learned. Your insight might help someone else see their situation clearly. You thought trust made you vulnerable, but the real you was never meant to be guarded. You were just meant to be careful.